Have you ever spoken in front of a group before? Were you scared or did you have butterflies in your stomach? So you may ask yourself, why is it really so important to learn to give a speech? Well, if you think about it, you and I communicate every single day. You communicate when you talk, write, or express your thoughts in other ways. One form of communication is public speaking. This usually means giving a speech in front of a group. Giving a speech can be fun and exciting, but it can also make you a little nervous. That's why today we're going to talk about how to write, prepare, and deliver a speech in your next 4-H Club meeting. Public speaking is a skill that everyone needs to learn. So let me give you 3 reasons why that's true. Number 1, almost every one of us will be involved in public speaking in some form at one point in our lives, so we need to be prepared to do a good job when that time comes. Number 2, employers consistently rank public speaking and related communication skills as one of the top skills they look for in potential employees. And finally, number 3, being an effective public speaker gives you the tools to make a difference in your business, in your community, and even in the world. While it may be difficult to feel grateful for the chance to practice your public speaking skills when you're standing in front of the classroom staring out into a sea of eyes, that experience and practice will benefit you greatly throughout the rest of your life. Now let's talk about the steps involved in getting ready for your speech. The first step in preparing for your speech is the planning process. One of the most difficult tasks in preparing for a speech is the selection of a good and interesting topic. So you might ask yourself, am I interested in this topic? Will I be able to find enough information about it? And can I possibly include 4-H in it in some way? Next, decide the purpose of your speech. Is it to entertain, inform, stimulate, or persuade? Now you're ready to brainstorm ideas for your topic. So write out ideas on notebook paper. Research the topic, gathering information from your extension office possibly, maybe from the library, from the internet, or even with interviews with authorities on the topic. The second step in preparing for your speech is organization. A good speech will have 3 major parts, much like a hamburger: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. First, the top part of your burger is the introduction. Your introduction needs to get the audience's attention, maybe by giving a famous quote, surprising fact, by asking a question or relating a personal experience, or maybe by using words or verses from a famous poem or song. This is your chance to greet your audience and stimulate their appetite for your first few words. Your introduction will also introduce your topic of your speech to your audience. Next is the meat, or the body of your speech. This is where you get into the importance of your topic. The body is also the longest part of your speech and gives the important facts that you want to cover. Without the meat, you don't have a hamburger, so without the body, you don't have a speech. Remember to try and list 3 to 5 main points you want to make about your topic. Finally, add your conclusion or bottom bun. By adding the bottom bun to complete your speech, just like a hamburger would be pretty messy to pick up and eat without a bun, a speech should not be left hanging without a conclusion. Use your conclusion to review the main points, tell the audience what actions you want them to take, and relate back to your introduction. An introduction, body, and conclusion are the basics in preparing for your speech. But just like we add extras such as lettuce, tomato, and cheese to our hamburgers, we can add extra interest to our speech by being creative and adding interest by using descriptive words, by using a visual theme throughout our speech, and also by using lots of expression and emphasis to emphasize points or to create excitement. Step 3 of a good 4-H speech is practice, practice, and more practice. There are several good ways to practice your speech. The more you practice, the better your speech will be, and the more comfortable you'll be when you stand in front of your audience. Some of the best ways to practice are: practice in front of the mirror giving your speech to yourself, practice in front of your family and friends, or record yourself speaking with some type of video or sound recording device. Step 4 is actually giving your speech. Now you're ready for the speech contest, so here are a few pointers to make your speech a success. First and most importantly is to relax. Take a deep breath before you give your speech and just have fun with it. Next is your appearance. Remember to stand up straight and don't lean or stand on the podium. Don't put your hands in your pockets and don't make any distracting gestures with your hands. Next is your notes. You may use your notes, but don't read off of them and don't depend on them, and especially don't hold them in front of your face. Next is eye contact. Remember to be sure to look at your audience and see if they are really listening to you. Remember, if you pay attention to everyone in your audience, they'll pay attention to your speech. And finally, and most importantly probably, is your voice. Make sure you speak in a loud and clear voice that's not too fast. Although winning gives us a thrill, I think it's more important for us to remember that we're gaining confidence and learning to be effective communicators. Everyone can benefit from this opportunity to practice your public speaking skills. So remember to plan your speech, organize it, remember the hamburger, practice, and then you'll be ready to give your speech with success. Next, let's take a look at an example 4-H speech.
They're microscopic, they're invisible, and they are everywhere. I'm talking about germs. Germs are bacteria or viruses that may cause us to become ill. They linger on desks, sinks, food, and many other objects our hands touch every day. Most bacteria are spread by our hands. What have your hands touched today? First stop, school. Have you sharpened your pencil with our classroom pencil sharpener? The shared pencil sharpener is the dirtiest thing in the classroom. I think I'll stick with mechanical pencils for now. The computer keyboard and mouse can have more germs than a toilet. Scientists in Michigan study germs in schools with a germ meter. A score of 300 means an item has a large amount of microorganisms. This study found bacteria and mold counts on a school water fountain were 1,000 times higher than on the toilet. But the highest reading came from something many of us use at recess, the basketball. This had a germ score of 13,987. Basketballs are more likely to have a lot of germs because its surface is ridged, many hands touch it, and is not routinely clean. Also, on the playground, the monkey bars have a lot of germs from both hand contact and because birds and animals may perch on them. In the lunchroom, the worst thing is not the food trays, counters, or tables. It is the last thing we all touch before we eat, the lunch keypad. This had a germ score of over 13,000. If a child is ill, he could easily infect the keypad by touching, coughing, or sneezing on it. If you're in line behind this person, you could be infected. It is surprising to know the toilet seat in the study had the lowest score of the day. Even the wooden desk had higher counts of bacteria because its surface has nooks and crannies where organisms can hide. We should also be careful where we put our backpacks and purses. Often, our bags are placed on the floors of school, public restrooms, and restaurant, floorboards of cars and buses, and the fold-out seat of shopping carts where dirty diaper babies sit. Testing on handbags have shown most have tens of thousands of bacteria on the bottom, and a few were overrun with millions. Many are carrying a serious bacteria, such as E. coli. E. coli is a foreign bacteria found in human feces and raw meat. It can cause serious illness and can be life-threatening. This is scary, knowing that my backpack and my mother's purse often end up on our kitchen table and counter. Next, let's look at our home. Germs are most frequently found on household surfaces, like the kitchen sink, kitchen sponge, refrigerator, doorknobs, and garbage cans. What about the kitchen floor? Any number of nasty things get transferred to our floors by way of falling there, being sprayed there, floating down through the air, and of course, tracked in by our shoes. So, what about the 5-second rule? If you drop your cookie on the floor, is it okay to eat it if you pick it up in 5 seconds? This 5-second rule is false. A high school student in Chicago tested this myth by dropping gummy bears and fudge-type cookies on a tile floor contaminated with bacteria. Both foods have bacterial contamination before 5 seconds. Mythbusters, a show on Discovery Channel, also disproved this myth. Their test showed food dropped on the floor was contaminated in only 2 seconds. It also showed moist food, like meat or cheese, would pick up more bacteria than a dry item, like M&Ms when dropped on the floor. Avoiding germs is nearly impossible. However, being aware where germs are lurking can help us reduce our risk. Most importantly, wash your hands with soap and warm water for 20 seconds. This is about the same time it takes to sing the happy birthday song twice. Hand sanitizer does work and should be used when soap and water are not available. Always cover your mouth or nose when coughing or sneezing. It is best to cough or sneeze into a tissue, throw it away, and wash your hands. Get lots of rest, eat healthy, and keep your germs to yourself.